Well, I've kicked off a new broadcast, and this time let's hope everything works and behaves itself. This time we've got added cat, so enjoy that. I don't know how long he's going to stick around for, but he was worried about not being part of the channel, so he really wanted to pitch in, didn't you? Yes. So well done for joining in and making it so useful and so easy for me to do this. So I'm just going to hang on a minute and see how the connection stream holds up before I bother doing anything. So this often takes about 30 seconds or so very exciting. While we wait, on the off chance that it's working okay, you will have noticed I've already done 3 videos ranking books of Jamie Oliver, frankly they weren't super popular, so hence I thought I'd wrap them all up in a live stream. I wanted to do them all, so live stream seems to be the way to go. Let's just have a little check-in on everything. Oh, cat's off. That's it. Oh, he's just sat just off camera there. There we go. He'll probably pop in every now and then because it's getting on for his dinner time. That's what's happening. Top thing. Why is it called that? Just 1 second. Again, I'm just being sure because I don't know if you were there a minute ago, but it kind of broke a bit. So I just want to be sure it's all working okay. How do I see you in the studio? There we go. In the old control room. Okay. Stream is healthy. Excellent. That's better. That's better. Right. Right, let's try again. Sorry about that, folks. Sorry if you've joined in a second time wondering what's going on. Like I said, internet behaving itself weirdly. I did try something different with my live stream, and clearly that wasn't worth it. So yes, I've already ranked a bunch of them, so I'm going to rattle through this. Jamie Oliver, The Naked Chef, his OG book, the very first one released in '99. Still a lot of fun, still energetic. Recipe's a bit dated now, and it's a bit all over the place, but it's still good. Therefore, I'm very quickly going to mark it up as on my very deluxe board here, knocking everything everywhere. Let's use a nice funky colour for that. So I give it a B. I don't know how much space I've got left here, but we'll find out. And then also Return of the Naked Chef. Again, I talked about this in a previous video. I cooked a farfalle pasta recipe that was really good, really tasty. It's got, again, more good ideas in here. Some of his politics views is probably a better way to say, start to come through already, where he talks about ingredients, he talks about organic and this sort of thing. I've got a full review of this one, so I won't dwell on that one. It's another good one. It's not essential for your collection though, so I'm going to also add this on the old B tier, just calling it Return. I was really hoping to have enough time today to print out little stickers and just put them on my whiteboard, but I ran out of time today. So I could go through these in order, but I just grabbed them all from the various locations. I have them in my house. So we're just going to grab the next one that comes to hand. Save with Jamie. This is where we start to get into tricky territory reviewing Jamie books, because it's hard to separate Jamie, the person who writes cookbooks, from Jamie, the sort of character, personality, maybe? That's another way to put it. I think a problem with that, with Jamie, is he gets very excited. And when he gets excited, he runs away with things. Now, this came out, I think, 2008, 2009. I'll double check while I talk. And Cat's still desperate to... Oh, it says 2013, much later than I expected. The reason I say that is because it popped up as a result of the cost... It wasn't called cost of living crisis then, was it called financial crash? Anyway, whatever it was. That's came about then, and it can be seen as a little bit condescending because Jamie, obviously pretty rich, pretty well off, he owns a pretty bloody big house. And him telling you how to save money is a bit ridiculous. Now, that's not to say they aren't money-saving recipes, but his philosophy is to buy once, buy big, and then use it lots of times. E.g., there's one for, I've turned straight to, excellent. I'll pop it up on the little screen in just a moment. E.g., this is very typical. Mothership Sunday roast pork. In other words, roast a pork joint and then make sure you buy enough so you've got leftovers. Serves 8 plus leftovers. It's a standard pork roast dish. But then, here's all the things you can do with it. So, take the pork dripping, shred the pork and make a pizza or banh mi sandwich or the pork buns. Oh, this is such a great recipe for rapid dim sum buns. It's just self-raising flour and milk for the dough, and then you have to make it quickly. You can't let them sit, but it's really good. A pork ragu, pork tacos, pork and slaw. So this has actually got cracking recipes in, recipes that still work today, and recipes from all over. Curries, kebabs, soups, stews, lots of stir-fried, and there's a rendang style dish in here that is also excellent. I really, really like this one. I think, unfortunately, it got tarred with the why is Jamie telling us how to save money. If it had been called something else, it would be recognised as a great book. For that reason, Save with Jamie, I can't keep piling them there because I'm going to get, is going in A tier. It's an excellent book. Excellent. I really recommend it. Let's go over here next. Hooah! Superfood Family Classics. He was on a real health kick at this time. I've still got the receipt for when I bought it in Waterstones. Ay caramba. I remember when I got this one. 10th of October 2016. That's when I got it. I'm pretty sure it wasn't new at the time. Maybe it was. Anyway, I struggle with this bit, with this book a bit. I'm sure these are all great recipes, but they just don't do it for me. They don't speak to me the way a lot of his recipes do. That said, obviously January coming up, we all generally eat a bit healthier when it comes to January to stave off the December excess. So maybe I should revisit it, but I've never fallen in love with this book. So I've just picked one at random here. I can't remember, I haven't cooked an awful lot from it, I know that much. It's my first test of a book. If I go through it and find 5 or 6 things that I really want to cook, I'm just going to move that way. That'll make life easier for me. Yes, that's much better. Yeah, so a bunch of things in here, but it doesn't really do it for me. Absolutely miles at the back about health and nutrition, as you might imagine, so it just doesn't work for me, and therefore, I'm sorry, that one is a D tier. So I'm just going to call it SFFC, which I'm sure is the name of a football club, but I'm too ignorant about football to know what that is. Okay, let's get seasonal. Jamie Oliver's Christmas Cookbook. Jamie Oliver has a Christmas special every year, and inevitably there's one recipe from it I always do that I pick up and put into my repertoire. Last year it was a kind of meatloafy stuffing he made. Excellent it was. I haven't caught this year's yet. It may not have been on. I saw it in the schedule, but I haven't caught up with it yet. Maybe tomorrow. This is a really thick book considering it's just covering Christmas, because really it's not just covering Christmas. Oh, flip camera. It's covering all sorts of celebrations really, and with a sort of roast atmosphere. So it's like great Sunday roasts. And there's a whole veggie and vegan section. What to do with leftovers, afternoon tea, puddings. There's lots of great stuff in here. Obviously you've got your basics, how to roast lamb, how to make Yorkshire puddings, all that sort of stuff. But then being Jamie does silly stuff as well, like cracker ravioli. Just something a bit different. Icelandic rice pudding. What makes it Icelandic? This is where he needs to steer away from naming things after countries. It gets him in trouble all the time. Granitas, the Jaffa, I've made that, that's good. A Jaffa cake, just a giant orangey chocolate cake. It's a really good book, and to spin a phrase, not just for Christmas, it's for other days of the year as well. Lots to enjoy there, and I would really recommend that one, and therefore I'm sticking it in the A tier. And I'm writing sideways, so I can't read any of it. That's clever, isn't it? All right, let's pick another one. Cook with Jamie. This one sold an absolute ton. This was just about as he was starting his food revolution, and I think this might be rebadged as revolution in the States. I'm just going to have a check-in on the old stream. Jolly good. Yep, lovely. Cook with Jamie, as the name implies, is his sort of how to cook. And he gets it really wrong. I think he just dives in at completely the wrong place. And actually, this is supposed to be sort of a celebration of his 15 cookery school. But I just want to find the first chapter. Okay, so you open your book with salads. Now that's not uncommon for Jamie. He loves salads. I know he loves salads. But he jumps straight in with salads. And I just think that's a strange place to go for beginners. I know it's easy, they don't have to cook, but actually diving in with, here's some salad recipes, is not going to win him any fans, I don't think. Maybe I'm wrong? Maybe I'm wrong, I don't know. But anyway, it's really misjudged. The recipes in here are of course good, but look, I've just opened it at random. Here's another example. How to cook. And this is how to prepare squid. If you're picking up a book called, you know, how to cook, sort of a tutorial book, you're probably not going to dive in at squid, are you? It's woefully misjudged. So I'm going to be harsh, and it's going to go down in the D tier of how to cook. I'm going to call it cook. So yeah, not one I would recommend. Sorry, Jay. If you can see, I don't think it's going to show up very well in the lights, but over here, over on the cookbook stand today, it's hidden by a bottle of red wine, is Delia's How to Cook from 2005, something like that. That's one you should look out for. That's a good book. Right, let's grab another one. Jamie's Dinners. I've covered this one slightly in a previous video, so I won't go on about it, but this was to coincide with his him going into schools and, you know, generally making a nuisance of himself. That attitude kind of follows him around. But this has got really fun, vibrant things. Lots of things I still cook are in this book. So I enjoy it a lot. And I think it makes a great gift, this one. Can I pick out one recipe or two that I've done before? There's a whole marmalade ham. That's the one I did for the book, for the blog. Blog? Yeah, I posted it a few weeks ago. It's a winner, baby. But, and there's the wonderful Nora, sorry, who was pretty much the star of that Jamie's Dinners programme, the dinner lady with the Irish brogue. But that's going to get a C tier. I really am going to run out of room, aren't I? I'm going to run out of room. Just checking in on the stream health after all the issues we had earlier. Yep, all looks okay. Good, 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 good. Right, let's pick another one. I'm going to pick a really easy one I can rattle through. Happy Days with the Naked Chef. Very much an early days book. I covered this one. Did I? Oh, I started to cover it, but I didn't finish it. The bread section in here is fantastic. Bread was one of still is one of Jamie's passions. I believe he makes bread every week. He hides himself away in his garden kitchen, makes bread for the week. And a basic bread recipe is absolutely unstoppable. You cannot go wrong with it. And then loads of ways to use bread. Layered breads, sweet breads, not sweet breads, sweet breads. Yeah, lots of delicious treats in there. I really like that bread section from that book. So that's Happy Days. So very good, but that also suffers from slightly dated ingredients. So that's going to go down in the C tier. Why is he not going in the S tier? Okay. The thing I dislike most about Jamie's kitchen is the shape of it. It's more square. You know, if I get a more standard sized book, you can see it's an odd shape. Anyway, Jamie's kitchen is very, very of the time. You read it and you think, oh, this is a 20-year-old book. It's just, let me show you. So here, it's just the layout as well. This sort of lowercase, very angular fonts. Fresh mackerel cooked in pomegranate, lime juice and tequila with a crunchy fennel salad. I mean, it just reeks of a bit dated, frankly. Who's going to blanch tomatoes in this book? Nobody, I tell you. You've got your pastas, you've got your rices, you've got your breads, but ultimately, it doesn't stand the test of time. So that one, poor fellow, he's going to go down in the D tier. I'm starting to rub off. Oh, okay. Jamie's America. I mean, does he own America? I don't think he does. I don't think he owns a stake in America, but we'll see. So Jamie's America is... it's a bit of an indulgence, really. So Channel 4 have this guy who can just absolutely churn out series and cookbooks and guarantee him views. So just gets sent to America, if I remember rightly. Oh no, that's another book coming up lately. That said, there are some interesting recipes in here. Certainly things in here I'd never heard of and never tried. There are a couple of breakfast dishes in here I've definitely made. I don't know if I'll be able to find it. I've definitely made the hot chocolate and churros. Absolutely delicious. There's a gorditas recipe, like a... I don't really know what they are, like small taco things. Don't have the vocabulary for it, sorry. And there was also a really good Navajo breakfast, which I can't find right now. It's not packed with great recipes, and it was one of those that made a really good TV series, and it never really translated into the book itself. The TV series is a lot of fun, very travelogue. He goes to work with some barbecue pitmasters. He enters some sort of barbecue competition, I seem to remember, and that's good fun. But the recipes are okay. Maybe it's because they don't translate to me that well. Maybe that's it. But fun stuff, but it's not one I go back to. And so for that reason, off it goes into the C tier. USA. Okay, let's stay with the country thing, not yeehaw, but Jamie's Great Britain. I'm pretty sure it coincided with the 2012 Olympics, so it had a kind of real 2011. So yeah, it would have been around in 2012. Super indulgent dishes in here, lots of super rich stuff. This was another one where the series, the TV series, was better. So I'm distracted by a picture. The TV series was better than the actual book. And there's even a recipe in here, I seem to recall, that had to get renamed in the end. I think he called it Empire Chicken, which was essentially a whole roast chicken covered in Indian spices, which is really nice, but classically Jamie misjudged. A couple of good ones I can recommend. The Worcestershire beef sarnie, which is basically a beef brisket simmered in a bottle of Worcestershire sauce. It makes a terrific lunch, served with pickles. I'll be honest, it's been a while since I've flicked through this one. There's a whole section on pies, which is absolutely cracking. But it still isn't one I go back to, which is a bit of a shame, because being that it's celebrating dishes from this country, you'd think there should be more to it, but I don't find myself coming back to it. And so sadly, for that reason, it's going to join the USA in the C tier. Tantalisingly leaving the S tier blank at the moment. Just have another little check on the stream health, just because of all the fun we were having earlier, those of you that were around. Good, so that's behaving itself. Just have another little check and a test. Very good. Okay, moving on. Okay. Jamie's Friday Night Feast. So most of the time, Jamie releases one series of something a year, and then he has an accompanying book. That's his business model. Book series, book series, book series. Much as he did this year, much as he's done for at least a decade, if not longer. This one, however, slightly different. With this one, however, it's Friday Night Feast is where he and his old mate Jimmy go down to Southend Pier, invite celebrity guests, do a few magazine type segments, and then they're done. So they get a different celebrity guest in each week, and they talk about one of their foods that they love. What that means is there's very little simple in here. There's some really complicated stuff, because it's all, nobody goes there and says, oh, I really like egg salad. People go there and they say, oh, I like a proper fish pie made from scratch, and therefore stuff takes forever. So it's full of interesting things, but it's a collector's piece, really. I mean, Tom Daly's sweet and sour chicken. Come on. Liv Tyler's prawn dumplings. It's not bad by any means, but it's again not one I go back to. So I'm afraid, for that sake, the Friday Night Feast, that's going to go in the D tier. I'm getting messages that it's not behaving itself again, so I hope it recovers shortly. All right, let's dig into Jamie at Home. Jamie at Home, probably the series of his that had the best theme tune. One of his old mates did the tune for it. Recall that Jamie was a musician as well for a time. Jamie at Home is sort of about growing your own veg, but only a bit. He is passionate about growing his own veg. He has a massive kitchen garden. Why wouldn't he? But whilst there is a bit of that advice in here, actually, there's really, really tasty recipes in here. I'm going to flick through and find one quickly. So, already I'm flicking to them. Balsamic baked onions with roasted pork. I've definitely cooked that before. This whole section on onions, I really like onions. Cheese and onion salad, English onion soup. Yeah, this is good stuff. There is a barbecue sauce in here. So you get sections like, just missed it, sorry, how I grow courgettes, but it's literally a page. It's not a gardening book. It's not a gardening manual. I want to find this particular recipe. Let me go through the index. Page 84. Yeah, this is it. Best barbecued meat and homemade barbecue sauce. This is, you know, a terrific recipe. Quite a lot of ingredients, but it makes a great barbecue sauce. Hello, Hardy Har. Why did my brain assume this was Jamie Oliver ranking all books ever? Well, I put Jamie Oliver in the thumbnail because why wouldn't I? But sadly, he's not. He can't be here tonight. But he's represented by his entire work. So thank you for popping into chat. Nice to see you. I'm getting warnings that the stream isn't behaving itself, so I hope it's working okay. Oh, I never put it in the list. So, Jamie at Home. Jamie at Home, I absolutely love this book, and it's going to be the first into the S tier. So, at the moment, if you've only got space for one Jamie Oliver book in your collection, it's the Home book, Jamie at Home. It's very old now. Dead easy to pick up at charity shops and the like. Comfort food. Jamie's comfort food. This was another badly timed book. When everybody ran out of money, he suddenly came out with a book full of super indulgent food. This is unfortunately my kind of food. Stuff where you go really big with it. Really big flavours. Have a look at this. You know, a lovely dosa recipe. And obviously dosas, you can mix up any flavours you like. An Insanity burger, a great burger recipe, absolutely terrific. Jerk egg, ham, egg and chips. Again, if you can get the whole joint and make it like that, fantastic. A giant sausage roll. Oh, this shepherd's pie where you push the mash into the sides and bottom of the dish and then cover it as usual, so you get more mash into it. Real crowd pleaser. I haven't opened this one for a while, and flicking through it now makes me realise just how much I enjoy that particular book. So, Jamie's comfort food, for those of you playing along at home, goes in the A tier. Righty-ho. We're getting there. We're over halfway, I think, gang. Let's get rid of these three, because they're distracting me. You can go over there. Run out of spaces to put all these damn books. Whoa! Jamie Cooks Italy. Now, not to be confused with Jamie Does, where he does go to Italy, amongst other things. Jamie Does Italy was a little treat to himself to take Gennaro Contaldo, his old mate, out somewhere to enjoy himself, take him back to the motherland. This is another one that's it's so specific that it can be a bit difficult to make everything from it because it uses a lot of local produce. But how can I put this? It reads really well, but I'm not sure it's that enjoyable. It's one of those ones that you can look at, these beautiful plates of food, but not one I find myself going back to make stuff out of. Another one where I've kept the receipt. Yep, 18th of August 2018, that's when I bought this book. So yeah, nothing wrong with it, but not something I'm cooking from. So therefore, down he goes into, let's put him in the C. Oh, isn't that interesting? All the ones that are about countries, USA, UK, Italy, I'm ranking quite poorly. I don't know if that's going to change with the aforementioned Jamie Does. This is this was a 30th birthday present for himself, where he went on a little tour of Italy, of Spain, Italy, Sweden, Morocco, Greece and France. Reeks of getting a holiday for free by doing that, going on a jolly. This one's, it just doesn't speak to me. It's got a change in typesetting, which I don't mind at all. Look at this, quite beautiful. But I don't feel inspired when I read it. I don't immediately find something that I want to cook. I don't jump to it and find something that I know I want to cook. Radish salad and cured duck. I mean, interesting, but it's just not really my vibes. Pot au feu. Yeah, so, I don't know. It's, sorry for switching camera. It's all right, but it's not really for me. It doesn't quite do it for me. So I am putting poor little Does. I'm going to put it with all the other country ones over in C. We've broken the back of it, folks. There's just a small pile left over here. We've nearly done every Jamie Oliver book, plus I've got a little bonus if I've got time. Everyday Superfood with Jamie Oliver. Went on a massive health kick in the early 2010s and started researching different ways that people are healthy. I can't remember where I got this from, but I've got the feeling he was spurred on to do all this by his wife Jules, who was interested in him trying to find healthy ways. Because after all, Jamie has a voice, you know, whether you like him or not, he has a voice in the community. When he sort of suggests things, people try to do them. So therefore, I think if he says, why don't we try and do healthy things, maybe they try and do them. I don't have access to the sales figures. If I did, I'd be really interested to see how this sold, because it's off. Let me show you. It's Jamie stuff, but a little bit off-piste. So chicken and garlic bread kebabs, blood orange, spinach and feta. Fine, but not quite the usual vibes. I mean, it's beautiful. Look at the colours there. Beets and sardines, horseradish, yoghurt and rye bread. I've got a few friends who would absolutely devour the stuff in this book. I'm thinking of Happy Hungry Hibby, a great video, a great channel. Tomato and olive spaghetti, garlic bread and sardine sprinkles. So there's lots of discussion, and this is where he starts to introduce the nutrients, the macros for every single recipe, which makes sense, but and he hasn't left it now for every single one. So it's hard to knock it for what he's trying, but I've never made anything from here twice, which I think says quite a lot. It just doesn't do it for me, and therefore everyday superfood, I couldn't think of the other word. Everyday superfood goes in the D tier, I'm afraid. It's looking very bottom heavy, isn't it? This list is looking very bottom heavy. In other words, there's a lot of stuff down here, but less up here. Well, we're not over yet, so let's see where we get to. I'll tell you what, it's just come off the top here. Simply Jamie. Simply Jamie is from this year, 2024, and I've considered this a victory lap. It's like he's found some of his favourite ever things, and this is what he's going to put into a book. It's not like a best of, it's not a compendium or anything like that. So I'm just switching around to make sure everything's behaving itself. Anyway, so it's got great ideas in here. Very little of it is original, but that's okay, because I think he's really celebrating what he's doing. So let me give you an example. Do you remember when we talked about the Save with Jamie book? It talked about making a sort of mother recipe. This is similar. It's that new, the pages aren't quite doing it. So do a poached chicken and then use the leftovers to make a street food salad, to make a chicken noodle broth, to make chicken and chive pie, etc., etc. So there's lots of things like that where you take one recipe and then turn it on its head and do it lots of different ways. I've got two absolute favourites from here I want to show you before we rank it. And because I'm such a pro, I haven't tagged all the pages first. There he is. This I've made a couple of times now. You might see it on my Instagram as well, which is The Big Spud. Easiest cornbread. This cornbread recipe is basically a load of stuff you might already have in the cupboard. Just chuck it all in, mix it up, bake it. It's terrific. It's cheesy, it's corny, and then here's different ways you can use it. Why not slice it up and make dippy egg or Marmite and avocado? Do it, serve it with ham, serve it with all different things. I chuck it into a cauliflower cheese. Excellent recipe. And then this Black Forest roll I've made 3 times already in a couple of months, and I'm going to make it again this weekend for some friends. It's a terrific recipe, really, really good. I've really enjoyed this, though I've only had it a couple of months. September, I think it came out, but I've cooked from it quite a few times already. It's become a little favourite of mine this year, and therefore that is going to go in the A tier. Time will tell if it can move up or down in the rankings. Oh, disrupting the balance. Where should we go next? Let's go here. About 8 or so left, guys. 5 ingredients. Again, to accompany the TV series, you can start to see what's going on my table now. 5 ingredients is exactly as it says. Take 5 ingredients and there's the recipes. This was quite a publishing phenomenon at the time, sold massively well. So you've probably got a copy on your bookshelf. And if you haven't, go to your local charity shops because they'll have them, because it sold that well that lots of them end up in charity shops, as is the way of books, cookbooks in particular. Again, you get people ragging on it saying, oh, but you used red wine vinegar. Yeah, all right, okay. So it's 6 ingredients. Get with the picture. An idea that we'll come back to later is why don't you just focus on what we're trying to do here rather than exactly following it to the letter. So here, for example, messy meatball buns, a great Saturday night type tea where you take beef, pesto, scrunch it all together, simmer some tomatoes, and then make your meatballs, stick it in a bat with mozzarella. So easy, so much fun. Liver, bacon and onions, can't say I've done that. Oh, these lamb hot pots, these are good. Considering we're just working with red onions, lamb neck fillet, mint sauce, umami paste and potatoes, gives you a really tasty lamb hot pot. I made those, they were great. Black tahini noodles, don't think I've made that. Succulent lamb stew, definitely make that. This is lamb shoulder and olives and a jar of pickled onions. It's such a great idea by leveraging pre-made ingredients, not in a trashy way, but in a, like pickled onions, using them as an ingredient. Nobody does that. So I thought this was a really clever take on a lamb stew. Cherry chocolate mousse, I've definitely done that. Again, going with the 5 ingredients, highly visual, highly clean layout, really easy to follow. Oh, that shortbread, that's good as well. I'm just flicking to things. I've made almost everything in here, and it's all bangers. If you want to get stuck on the idea that at the start he says, by the way, I include oil, salt and pepper, well, that's on you. But I really like 5 ingredients, and it's one of those I would recommend to a lot of different people. And for that reason, it's going to go in the S tier. I need a little animation that does like sparkles and fireworks and things. Righty-ho, let's finish off this pile. Jamie Oliver Together. So this came out, was it late 2020 or was it 21? I think it was 21. Yes, it was 21. So obviously this is following the lockdowns and the pandemic. So it was sort of a celebration of rushing together to have fun and finally enjoy eating together and having a good time. I go to this. I don't cook from it very often because it's designed around large catering. I don't think I've ever done an entire... I should show you really. Let's pick one. There we go. Fun family meal. Starter, main, pud. And that's what they set out. They set out like menus, which is not the usual way that he does things. But obviously you don't have to do that, but that's his suggestion, to put these things together. And I've definitely gone to this when I've had a large group round and I wanted an idea. And usually it's given me inspiration to go a bit further and to what to do with it. It's all big stuff. It's not one I can pick out particularly. So serves 10. You get quite a lot of that in this book. Serves 10, serves 15. So it's not day-to-day practical, but those times when you want a little bit of inspiration, I think it works really well. So for that reason, he's going to go in the B tier. Together. All right. 8 to go, gang. I'm running out of places to stack them behind me. Let's finish off this pile with Jamie's Italy. Didn't we already do Jamie's Italy? This is where, when he was fairly young, mid-20s, he went on a road trip of Italy in his little camper van, visiting different villages and seeing what they cook. And I think that what I remember most actually is the fact that he would go to one village and then travel 5 miles down the coast and they prepare something, the same dish, a totally different way. So, oh, I'd never had that to this. That was quite interesting in itself. A bit like the other Italy book, which I put in the C tier. This one is full of things that, oh, it depends on your heritage, I guess, but certainly I don't easily recognise. Sausage and beef kebabs with pieces of salami in between, pheasant stew, fried courgettes, sticky Italian figs. I mean, they're all brilliant, I'm sure, and very tasty. Let's just stop it on a recipe. Peposo, grilled and roasted pork. They're all very tasty, I'm sure, but they're not things that I dive into to watch and make again. So it's quite a good travel book, but not such a good cookery book. So I think I'm wavering between the C and the D tier. Purely for consistency, I'm going to put it, as I'm writing more sideways, it's getting harder to read. That's also going in the C tier along with the other Italy book. And so we're heading into the final 7. So here, 7 ways. This is a bit like 5 ingredients, but is about taking a super popular... The layout is the same. Let me show you. It's whereby you have the recipe and then a pictorial of the ingredients at the side. An emphasis on trying to get things that are already like sorted out for you. Things that are pre-made, as it were, like a jar of roasted peppers, sour cream, that sort of thing. Things that are already packing flavour. Sweet chilli sauce, oyster sauce, going in to make this sweet potato and chicken chop suey. So the concept is the same, but he's allowed himself a few more ingredients. But the principle, if I can find a pink page, was to go to one of the most bought things, judging by supermarkets, and then show you 7 different ways to prepare them. So with sweet potato here, we get a sweet potato burger, chop suey, stew, wedges, quesadilla, poke bowl, and a chowder. So that's an example of taking it. I think it's a really, as I said, a beautiful book, really pretty to look at. I don't think I've made lots and lots out of this. I like the ideas of it, but double pepper chicken, yes, made that. Miso peppers, made that. Yeah, I like the idea of it more than I like the actual reading of it. So good, but not quite for me, and therefore it's one of those that goes in the C tier. And as we get through the last of these are not in any order, they're just as I grab them off the shelf in piles and chunks. So we're up to Jamie's 30-minute meals. The chances are you probably own a copy of this because I'm pretty sure this broke records at the time for being one of the fastest selling non-fiction book, I think, of all time at the time. It's been superseded since by something else, but certainly it was. So this is probably quite a famous book. If you don't know it, obviously the premise is around making a 30-minute meal. Now, here's where I get on my soapbox, because he took a lot of stick at the time for this, because everybody claimed, oh, it's impossible to do these in 30 minutes. It's really difficult. But I would say two things about that. First of all, he's very clear at the start of the programme and at the start of the book that you need to be in the 30-minute mindset, as he said. That means get the kettle on to boil, put the oven on, get your pots and pans out, then go, right? Don't start looking for the sieve when you're 3/4 of the way through cooking. Don't then start looking for the tomatoes right at the end. You need to be engaged with it. The second point I would make is I would say, okay, yes, he's a trained chef. He is using his chef background, along with his team, he's got a team, to help how to put things together. And I think you should take that as inspiration and think, well, this is possible in 30 minutes. Maybe I extract that element and that's doable for me in 30 minutes. Or maybe I allow myself 45 and I do it. I actually recorded myself doing a bunch of these. They haven't ever made it to YouTube, along with timers. I don't know if they'll ever see the light of day. That kind of project didn't really work out for me. But if we just take a flick through here, I've made pretty much everything in this book. Pretty much everything. And not a single one is I wouldn't do again. Here's a really popular one: piri piri chicken, dressed potatoes, rocket salad, Portuguese tart, serves 4. So the idea is you're going to get a complete meal. So within that 30 minutes, chicken done, some Portuguese tarts like pastel de nata type things, along with sides and salads. And in some of these, you'll get a dessert, and some of them, you'll get a drink. But honestly, what this should do for you is not say, oh, it's really difficult, I can't do it in 30 minutes. But what you should be getting instead is inspiration to say, oh, this is a quick way to make a chicken pie, which is essentially fry it quickly and then lay pastry over the top. This is a quick way to do what's next. Mustard chicken. Yes, I've made this a bunch of times. This is a really good quick one. A very quick dauphinoise with greens. He also, because he's got gaps in his cooking, makes a black forest affogato. That is ice cream dessert. And so you don't have to do that. You know, you've got a main, you've got a side. Maybe you've already got a potato dish sorted, so you just want an inspiration for your protein. Well, there's a great chicken dish with some greens. It's a manifesto for cooking, is what it is. It's a way of approaching the kitchen, a way of doing things in the kitchen, and I would highly, highly recommend it. If you can only get one Jamie Oliver book, I think 30 Minutes Meals is his masterpiece. And it will be no surprise to you that I'm going to put it in the S tier. Come at me, bro. Oh, nearly there. Veg. Really overlooked this. He said he wanted to make this 10 years before he actually released it. And actually veg was something he's been inspired by for a long time. And he's got, it kind of looks a bit like 5 ingredients or what have you. You know, it's got that very simplistic plain layout. Lots in there. Salads, pastas, puff pastry. You can see these little tags of paper where I've put stuff in there to go and make them another time. Yeah, it's full of good stuff that is obviously veg forward. I really enjoy this book and I don't get it out enough. So that's a reminder to me to dust this off and make sure I do more with it. And put stuff over there because I'm running out of space. So where does veg go? I think veg goes in the A tier. Excellent book. Son of 30-minute meals. It's 15-minute meals. 15-minute meals, as the name implies, is what can we crack out in 15 minutes? Another great way to say, just see what is possible. Just see what you can achieve if you try. Again, don't get fixated on the 15-minute thing. Just think, if I can move fast, then I can rattle dinner out quite quickly if I follow the principles. Really read through the recipe first and then have a look. You can see an absolute, put that up to the camera, wedge of post-it notes in there of recipes that I've gone back to. And if we just have a quick flick through here, a quick fettuccine with trout, asparagus and peas, winter squash penne, oh that's really tasty that. Chorizo and squid couscous salad, Asian tuna, kedgeree, prawn cocktail, crab, lamb kofta. Yeah, these are all good. And of course the program that accompanies this had the theme tune remix of Nana Cherry's Buffalo Stance, which lives rent-free in my head, as the kids say. It's a really good book, full of great inspiration. Therefore, I only have one option, but to put it in the S tier. So, what have we learned? That if you put a country in the title, I rank it as C. If you put a number in the title, I rank it as S. Interesting. Okay. Just 3 to go. Let me mix it up slightly, because I can see what's coming. I'll tell you what, let's bash out these two at the same time. Hurrah! 1 pan wonders and 5 ingredients Mediterranean. They're actually of a vibe. 1 pan wonders, 1 pan wonders is literally, as it says, things you can cook in a single frying pan. Obviously to limit washing up is what he's trying to do there, and then probably effort as well. So veggie burgers, a shakshuka, a chicken Caesar, tomato fritters, winter salads, red onion salad. Again, think about the principles, think about the ideas of what it's encouraging you to try and do, and go down that route. Here's what you can do just if you focus on your dinner for a very short amount of time. Lots of fun, not one of my favourites, but still really good, and therefore that's going in the B tier. And to be honest, 5 ingredients Mediterranean falls into that bucket as well. 5 ingredients Mediterranean is, as it implies, here's 5 ingredients and here's something with a Mediterranean spin you can do on it. Greek chicken pasta, crispy sardine toasts, squid salad, island salad. Superb photography as always. Really clear instructions, really well laid out, and some good ideas. Not one I go back to terribly often. I think it only came out last year, so it hasn't had much opportunity to get back to the table, but not quite doing it for me. Therefore, he's going down in the C tier as 5 midi. That breaks my rule, doesn't it, of putting a number in it? Okay. And so we come to the final book of the review session. It's Jamie's Ministry of Food. This is the book that Cook with Jamie should have been. This is really good for teaching people how to cook, and if you want people to learn how to cook, I think this is the one you should get them, because there's lots of good description. One thing I bemoan about later books of Jamie's is the blurby bit at the top disappeared. The bit where he talks about this is why this recipe exists and this is why I like it, this is what you can change. It just went. So it's a shame that disappeared, because that really helps bring it to life. Let's spin back through there. Macaroni, cauliflower, cheese bake. Pasta al pangrattato. These are really simple recipes. I'm just looking for some of the interstitial chapters. There you go. So occasionally you get profiles of people that he's worked with. You may recall that his thing was all about passing on recipes, passing it on. So it's a really good book, and I think it's very good for showing people how to cook, much better than Cook with Jamie. And this one is going in the A tier. And I'm just going to write min, because I can't be bothered to write the rest. If you are exceptionally... let me just grab something. Just because occasionally you find pedants, I just want to point out that there are other books of Jamie's that are not reviewed here. I don't think it really deserves it. There are various charity books that he wrote for various Red Nose Days here, and they're all just sort of best ofs of existing recipes that we've got here, so I'm not really going to go into these today. They're silly little fun just to generate a little interest in charity. Some very young pictures of Jamie there. Yeah, so that's all of Jamie Oliver's books ranked. Let's have a look at our list and see how we feel about it. There's a lot of books there. And here's the full list. I think I'm going to tidy it up and publish it on the community page of this channel later so we can have a proper look at it. But if I just zoom there, as I say, if you only need one Jamie Oliver book in your life, I would recommend 30-Minute Meals, definitely, or 5 Ingredients. I think they are the killer two, really. I love Home in 15 myself, but 5 Ingredients, 30-Minute Meals are excellent. Well, gang, it's been fun sharing that with you, and I've really enjoyed. I've been desperate to go through all of Jamie's books for as long as I've had a channel, so I've really enjoyed doing that. I think I'm going to sign off for now. If I do not get a chance to go live before Christmas, I hope you have a great Christmas and a cracking New Year, and I will see you on the other side. Thanks for watching, guys. See you later.